Hello everyone, welcome to Bible Study Daily Log. We'll dive deep into God's Word every day to gain wisdom and understanding. So today our topic will be on Proverbs chapter 4 verse 1 to 5, English Standard Version. I'll start off by reading verse 1. So, verse 1 says, Hear, O sons, a father's instruction, and be attentive that you may gain insight. Verse 2, For I give you good precepts, do not forsake my teaching. Verse 3, When I was a son with my father, tender, the only one in sight of my mother. Verse 4, He taught me and said to me, Let your heart hold fast my words, and keep my commandments and live. And verse 5, Get wisdom, get insight, do not forget, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. So, I'll start off with the lesson for verse 1. So I'll repeat verse 1. It says, Hear, O sons, a father's instruction, and be attentive that you may gain insight. So it says to hear a father's instruction, be attentive and gain insight. To be attentive, to listen, make sure you hear and understand. And insight means to make wise choices. So what we could get from this verse is that it basically wants us to listen and keep the lessons of teachings of those around you, elders, people who watch over us, our guardians who want to teach us the proper way of life. This is what verse 1 means. It wants us to be able to listen to the words of people when they're giving us lessons, and that we are able to use it in our lives to listen, so that once we listen, we're able to make wise choices in our lives. Verse 2, For I give you good precepts, do not forsake my teaching. This one means for your elders, especially as a father, because in this verse is talking about a father's instruction, and it's also talking about Solomon. The verse is Solomon as a child, for when he says, For I give you good precepts, do not forsake my teaching. So this means for your elders, especially a father teaches the way of life, so our job is to keep it with us. So to the father who teaches us, his children, the way of life, they want us to be able to live as we should. They want us to live a good life, so we're able to make wise choices in our life. We're able to do what is right, and we have to keep the teachings with us. Follow the instruction, listen to the instructions, and follow the instructions. Verse 2. Verse 3, When I was a son with my father, tender, the only one in sight of my mother. So, this is talking about Solomon. So what this means is that Solomon had a father and a mother who taught him the way of life. This shows that the father is teaching his sons what was once taught to him by his own father, because the father of Solomon is Jesse. The father of Solomon is David, and Solomon had a father and a mother, and they were basically showing the way of life, because it's saying, When I was a son with my father, tender, the only one inside of my mother. Even though these are the Proverbs of Solomon, this is Solomon as a child, and this is basically King David speaking to Solomon. So as he was saying, When I was a son with my father, tender, the only one inside of my mother. So basically, it's just showing the father is teaching his son what was once taught to him, which is the same thing that he wants his son to do, to keep on telling his children to follow the way of life. This is the exact reason why they kept doing this, why the father was keeping on trying to put his son on the right path, because he wants his son to be able to make wise choices, to gain insight, and to have order in his life. So this is what verse 3 means. So in short, it's just showing the father is just teaching the son that was once taught him by his own father, so that they could be able to teach him the way of life. Verse 4, the verse says, He taught me and said to me, Let your heart hold fast my words, keep my commandments and live. What this means is that Solomon's father wanted him to listen to his teachings and keep them, so Solomon could live righteously. Although I'm speaking of Solomon in this situation, it isn't just tied to Solomon. It's basically tied to us children, to listen to our father, to listen to our mother, to listen to basically all elders, because all elders have lived longer than us, and they're wiser than us, and they know more than us. And this is why it's right for us to follow them, follow their instructions, listen to their teachings, and keep them with us. We shouldn't forsake their teaching. Verse 5, Get wisdom, get insight, do not forget, and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. Solomon was told to gain wisdom and to make sure he remembers his father's instruction. Solomon's father just wanted him to live a good life, And as his father did his part, Solomon had to do his part by following instruction and by following his father's instructions. So this is basically just showing that the father wants Solomon to be able to listen to the father's words, so that Solomon is able to follow the same teachings that his father once taught him, so that as Solomon, a grown adult, is one day going to teach his children what his father once taught him. He's going to recall these words that his father said to him as a child, and as Solomon as a child listened to his father's teachings, he can also teach them to his children, so his children are able to follow the same path that Solomon's father taught Solomon. So this is basically what the verse means. So as Solomon's father, or the father, is teaching you, they're doing their part by making sure that you live righteously, that you live a good life, a wise life, so you're able to live wisely in your life. And the way you do your part as a child, to listen to your parents as a child, you have to do your part by following the instructions that your parents or your father or your mother gives you, or any elders that are older than you and wiser than you, because the teachings that they give you are able to change our lives, because they're able to shape us into a good person that people want to enjoy, because this is a good person who listens to his mother and father's and teachings. They don't forsake them, they listen to it. And this will build us into a strong, good person who follows the way of the Lord, because it is said to listen to the father and mother's instruction and the commandments, and this is good for us. And that is the lesson for today. And if you enjoyed today's Bible study, feel free to like and subscribe and share it to someone else who might be blessed by it. And feel free to comment down, or if you have any suggestions or ideas, and you can comment down in the comment section and we can discuss it further together. And that is all for today. Thank you for your time. God bless.